So Gibbo, our special guest, and it's a case of where do you start and where do you finish? Suffice to say, a very close family friend to both the Warren and Gibson families. Born in Maitland in 1957, the son of a railway man, moving to Blaney, then to Temora, where this rugby league man turned entrepreneur, businessman, and he started playing rugby league with his equally esteemed and talented brother in the Four Stone Sevens, and from Temora to Werris Creek. And at one stage, his dad Basil coached the boys. They travelled to Tamworth every Saturday. In fact, a recent reunion at Werris Creek, a place he holds very near and dear. A move to Wollongong and Teachers College, and saw him then strap on the boots for Thurrool. And then, well, he joined Parramatta, and John, as they say, the rest is history. Multiple serious injuries through this stellar career, but he wouldn't surrender. The comeback journey again and again. 175 first grade games with Parramatta, 79 through 1990. 4 premierships with Parramatta in the 80s. 82, 83, 86. He missed 1981 due to injury. Country firsts on 2 occasions. The New South Wales Blues on 6 occasions, including the Blues' inaugural series win in 1995 under the leadership of the captain, the great Stephen Turvey Mortimer. 3 tests for Australia. He served on the New South Wales Rugby League and ARL judiciary throughout the 90s. Co-founder of Australia's Rugby League retail headquarters. Fair to say an iconic landmark, really, here in Sydney. Inducted into the Parramatta Hall of Fame back in 2002. He remains an enduring figure in the Parramatta community and very much the rugby league community Australia-wide. Only this year nominated as the patron for the Parramatta Leagues Club. All testament to his ongoing influence, widely regarded as one of the defining talents of the Eels' golden era. From his powerhouse workhorse performances of the 80s to his enduring business presence and community engagement, his story is one of family, toughness, resilience and loyalty. Gibbo, talking real estate with John Gibson. If you don't score here, you'll never score. Out of the blue and gold corner, we welcome Peter Wally Wynn.
Mark and John. Jeez. I'm not sure who he's talking about there, Johnny, but I'll have to soak all that in and have a think about what he's just said. But really honoured to be here with you two guys. And as he mentioned about the Warren and Gibson family, certainly endearing to me. Ray and your family, Jack and your family, amazing people.
Thanks, Pete. We didn't get to catch up last Friday at the Eels Centre of Excellence. That was a pretty memorable day, no doubt.
Yeah, it was, from the point of view of being able to take the grandchildren along, seeing what they've got out there. Quite amazing, 6 grounds for the team to play on, every facility you could imagine. And just to be in that company of some of the guys who come along on the day, Benny Lynch, his old man Ronnie Lynch, of course, and Ryan Hamley's son, Neville Glover, Jeff Gerard, brought back plenty of memories.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I do come bearing gifts, and as I do like to do each podcast, I'd just like to write you out a cheque. This cheque is for $7.5 million.
Well, Burris only got $5 million.
I know.
Burris got $5 million.
Gee.
I'm very feeling
Can you
very
just
generous.
sign that, Johnny, just to make sure I've got your signature, just for keepsake?
Yeah,
Right?
well, didn't I sign it? All right, okay, not a problem.
Mr. Burris was offered 2.5, and he said, "May I get?
He's got
can
plenty.
I get another 2.5? I know someone that can give me the money." And now Gibbo's gone out to $7 million.
That's all right. But what I want to know is that you've got to spend this on property, and I'd like you to buy 2 properties. It can be resi or commercial. Tell me what you're buying.
What a good question. Sometimes you have too many options, can't you, John? You know, I've got to probably think about this, but having $7.5 million to spend, I think I'll probably look for a little duplex site in the eastern suburbs. An opportunity there to put some money into that sort of area. Hopefully have a good return. And with the other half, I'll probably look at a commercial site, be it a warehouse somewhere in the eastern suburbs, close to the airport, close to facilities are going to help you move along goods you're going to sell online.
Yeah.
So I think I could probably carve that up quite easily.
Yes.
7.5 million. Won't go a long way, but it'll go far enough to establish a couple of good sites there that can be improved upon. And
You can chew through the cash when you start building, can't you?
you can. Things aren't cheap this day and age. It's quite
No.
amazing how prices have escalated since COVID, I'd have to say. I think I've noticed that more than anything. Just how expensive property is in Sydney and just how expensive to get builders to do the right thing for you.
Yeah, absolutely. What I want to ask you, let's roll back the clock. Where did it all begin?
You have to ask Mum and Dad how far back we go.
Basil and
Somewhere
Grace.
in Maitland.
Yeah.
No, I turned up in Maitland back on the 23rd of August, 23rd of December, way back in 1957. We lived there for a while. But Dad was a railway man, so he was ambitious as well, and he took promotions. We moved from Maitland to Blaney, lived there for a few years. I started schooling in Blaney, I think, in about 1963 in kindergarten. And then Dad got a promotion to Temora. We moved out there, lived in a little house, which was presented to him as far as his job and entailment with the government. So it was a railway house, and from there we moved to Werris Creek, about year 4 back in 1967, and high school at Crindai, before completing my high school certificate back in 75. And there wasn't a lot happening in Werris Creek. There's about 800 to 900 people living in the town. So as a kid growing up in that area, I did a lot of farming. My brother-in-law had a farm out there, so he used to get me out there, pay me $3 an hour to drive his tractor, scarifying and ploughing the paddocks. And as a kid from year 7, or as first form through to sixth form, I got a job in a retail store there. I used to catch the bus to and from school. When I got home from school, we used to work 1 hour a day, 5 days a week, and the Saturday morning from 9 till 12:15. And my job was getting to the job and helping pack parcels to be sent to Sunbeam down in Newcastle to be repaired. It was a shop that sold the first ever colour televisions in Australia, the old Rank Arena.
Rank Arena.
telling.
They were sponsors of the midweek cup there, I think, at one stage.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Rank Arena.
I think you're
They
right.
were involved.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure if they were the sponsors, but I can hear Ron Casey having trouble with the sponsor's
Rank
name.
Arena. So I
Yeah.
worked there every afternoon after school.
Yeah.
So, and my wage was $3. So that's 5 hours work during the week and then 3 hours on the
Wow.
Saturday. So and if I worked Monday to Friday, I got $1. But I had to get the extra $2 for working the Saturday morning. And then during the school holidays, I worked 5 days a week from 9 o'clock we opened till 12:15. Had an hour off for lunch and then back to work around about 1:30. And for the 5 days a week plus the Saturday morning, $10. Which went a long way. Those thick shakes were only $10 those days,
Yeah.
with a double malt.
Hang on, how much was it? Hang on, thick shake was how much?
20 cents. What did I say?
20 cents. Well, I thought you said $10.
No,
No,
20
no.
cents. 20 cents with
Okay.
double malt. So I worked there. So I had a bit of a background in retail, I suppose.
Yeah.
And we used to deliver all the television, refrigerators, washing machines, whatever, from this little store in Werris Creek. And then, like as I said, did high school certificate. Had to work out a plan whether I was going to get a job on the railways, whether I was going to, work in this electrical shop. What was I going to do? At that time, I got an offer to go. And we won the under-18s competition, which you mentioned
Yeah, I was
earlier
going to
about a
ask
reunion.
you, how important was sport and when did you get the time to fit it in?
Yeah, no, rugby league was a big part of our life. All we did
Yeah.
was in winter we played rugby league in the minor league in Tamworth. As you mentioned before, we used to drive to Tamworth every Saturday morning. Played high school football as well, and then kept playing. Got through the under-18s in 74 and 75. So rugby league was what it was all about during winter. In summer, go shooting, trapping,
Yeah.
Wow.
skinning rabbits, whatever we had to do. Used to shoot rabbits, skin them up, and or trap them, sell them for 20 cents each. Walk around town trying to get people to buy them off you,
Yeah.
and then work on the wheat silo.
A rabbito.
Rabbit.
Well,
my
that-
father
yeah.
always gave us a job on the
Yeah,
railways, working
yeah.
the good shed, and then when I come home from, during the days, used to work on the wheat silos as well, 12-hour shifts, 12 to midday and so on. So you're able to put money together for that reason. But staying in Werris Creek wasn't the biggest attraction, so I applied for a scholarship, and I won a scholarship to go to Wollongong. But at the same time, I had this offer to go to Newcastle to play rugby league.
Yeah.
3 of my mates got a scholarship to go to Newcastle, so they all tried to talk me into changing where I was going to go. My sister was at Newcastle Conservatorium of Music, so there was an attraction there, but I sat back and I thought, you know what, I've just been given this opportunity to get out of Werris Creek. Great place to visit, with so many friends. So I'm not knocking in any way, but to improve yourself. And I was still playing football. Football was in my guts, so I weighed it all up, rang up the education department. I said, can I transfer to Newcastle? They said, yes, Mr. Wynn, we'll send you the forms. The forms arrived, and I looked at it and I said, no, I've got to get out. I've got to give myself my best chance to be successful. So I kept the scholarship and moved to Wollongong. Got to Wollongong, Johnny.
The gong.
Didn't know a soul. Cried for 4 weeks. Missed everybody. Missed mum and dad. Missed everybody. But my mother knew a bloke called Keith Nolan. So after I'd enrolled at the university in the Teachers College, we got the bus out to Thirroul and walked into Thirroul Eels Club. And Keith Nolan was there, and he sat down. He knew that Dad was a footballer. He said, "Oh, Pete plays a trial here. We'll find him a place to live." And I said, "Yeah, that sounds good." So, but before the day was out, he rang up and said, "Oh, we've got you a place to live, but come play the trial on Sunday anyway." So I found me a place to live just down from Wollongong Teachers College in Kirraville.
Yeah, so when you started to get a little bit of a name for yourself down there, when did Parramatta come into the equation?
Parramatta was funny, because 1977, Harry Barth and a few of the St George committee came down and watched me play against Corrimal. And I had an offer to go and play a trial at Penrith, but I wasn't ready for it. I knew myself I wasn't strong enough.
Fair drive back then.
Fair drive. So in 78, next thing I get a phone call from Terry Parker. He said, "Oh, you've just been picked for country. We're interested in you." So I got picked in this country tour to go to Queensland. We're up at Tweed Heads, trained at Tweed Heads Oval. Next thing, Johnny Brass walks over, who I was playing against that night. He said, "There's a bloke over here who wants to meet you." It was Jack Gibson. So I walked over and Jack said, "I've come a long way to watch you play." So I played that night. Next thing, Jack said, "We'll be in contact during the week." So he gave me an offer, but I didn't sign. I signed for Parramatta. They just signed Arthur Beetson, and Terry Fernley approached me. So 2 years later, I get a phone call from Jack. "I'm finally going to get to coach you." I said, "Oh, Jack, I've just renewed my contract with Parramatta." He said, "Yeah, I've just signed with Parramatta." So all of a sudden, Jack became one of Jack's men, which was very fortunate. I had 3 good years under Jack. Memorable times.
So how long did they sign you for, and what was your first contract?
I signed my first contract.
What did they pay you?
Not as much as I'd liked.
Yeah, it's pretty standard.
Standard, yeah. No, I was happy with the money. There was bonuses those days of representing the state, representing Australia. You got a sign-on fee, plus you got match payments as well. And the good thing about it was you received that money on the 1st of November. So whatever you earned for the season, you didn't touch. So I was a school teacher. So I was appointed to teach children. So I had a wage coming in every week. So the football money was a bonus. All of a sudden, here's the cheque on the 1st of November. You could do something with it. So I signed the first contract for 2 years and then re-signed at the end of 1980 for another 2 years.
You just mentioned you're a teacher during this time, so you're working. In fact, the name of the school. What was the name of the school?
First school I taught at was Maroubra Bay High School. Then I taught at Mitchell High.
Yeah, but you also taught Mark Geyer.
I did at Wayland High School.
At Wayland High.
And on 2 occasions, Jack, your father, and Arthur Beetson, I got them to come out to a coaching clinic. So they came out and the media followed them out. They gave a lot of exposure to Wayland those days, which was really good. On 2 occasions.
My question moving forward was, you're working, you've just told us about what you're doing with your earnings from Parramatta. Were you a saver or a spender? Now, I kind of know the answer to that, but I'll let you go.
My dad was on the railways.
Yeah.
Got 4 children to raise and brood. My mother was a mother to us all. She didn't work. When we lived in Blaney, we lived in a little half house, 2-bedroom house. So 4 of us were in 1 bedroom, mum and dad were in the other. So we weren't endowed with any wealth. We weren't endowed with any sort of luxury at all.
Plenty of love.
A lot of love. So you sort of like got to know what the value of money was. I think out of those $3 earned a week, I think I banked 2 of them and kept one to buy 5 thick shakes with. No, so I'm a bit of a saver. Always been a saver. Yeah. Appreciate what money is. And I think as a footballer, to be given the opportunity to earn money as a player, that money was very important.
Yeah.
So I'm a footballer in my guts. I want to play the game. And there is also the benefits of being paid for doing what you're doing.
Yeah. I did say earlier I'm come bearing gifts. There's more.
What's he got?
Oh, hang on a second.
Righto. So I've found this in the garage.
Ooh.
This is an original one, grand final day, which it's gone through the families, hasn't touched. That's what they put on the champagne bottle in 1982.
Yeah.
Can you talk us through those years? That's for you, by the way.
Well, I'll tell you the thing about when Jack Gibson signed in 1980, I went away that motivated to be something special, to really achieve the best I could. And Jack gave me every opportunity. We played in the pre-season final in 1981 against the Roosters. And then the first game we played against Newtown. Second game was against Canterbury. You can't believe it. Just right on half time, still they did a tap kick, ran around Brett Kenny. Brett popped up inside me and I went straight ahead. Out of the blue, George Paponis tackled me. Hit me in the knee. I went down. I couldn't move my knee, couldn't move my leg. Then the half-time siren went and I went off. And I hobbled into the dressing shed and Jack said to me, "Are you okay?" I said, "I'm all right, Jack." So I played the whole second half with this busted knee. I didn't play again for 12 months.
Yeah.
I snapped the cruciate ligament in hospital, got golden staph. But Jack always kept in contact with me, came and visited me. I always remember it was an Easter Sunday, Jack and Mass walked in with a big platter of seafood. They ate a lot. I never got a prawn or an oyster. But Jack kept in contact with me all the time and he said, "When you're ready, I'll play you."
Pete, excuse me, but you did a cruise ship back in those days. That was it.
Yep.
Norman, that was it.
Well, they did.
Not like today.
No, Dr. Johnson repaired it.
Wow.
But the biggest hindrance I got this golden staph, so I was getting treatment for 12 months. But it just took me that period of time to get better. But I'd never given up because rugby league was my life.
You felt okay mentally? Or
yeah,
you were a bit down?
Okay. Yeah, it was tough.
Yeah.
You're catching the bus from Castle Hill to Dr. Johnson's surgery in Parramatta. They sit on a
Grove Street?
They sit on a hydraulic machine every day. And I think I used to get the bus just outside of where I lived in Castle Hill. Little old ladies used to get up to put me on, give me their seat. That's how bad I was going. I'd walk and sticks, everything you can imagine. But the point is, I was on a mission. I was a footballer. All of a sudden, Jack Gibson's coaching me, and I was never giving up, and everything was secondary. I just had to get myself back on the field, and I was fortunate enough I did. So 82 comes along. And I remember the first grade game, Jack picked me to play against Balmain at Bilmore Oval. And I scored in the corner. And the referee disallowed the try. At half-time, Jack comes up and he said, and Mick Suden, I said, "You scored." I said, "I know." But that gutted me a bit because I'd been hanging out to try and, to be successful. And the year went on. In 82, Jack brought me off the bench in the grand final, which is so exciting. And to get a taste of what a grand final was like. And then 83 comes around and... I started and finished the grand final, and Jack comes up to me before the game. He said, "You're ready," because you always had the line, "Always be ready when the opportunity comes." And he said, "I know you're ready." And I was ready. I'd run through a brick wall for the bloke. I ran through a brick wall for my teammates. I ran through a brick wall for the fans as well. We won that game. Was equated, and Jack rings me up. He said, "I'll give you an 8 out of 10." I was happy with that. 7.5 is like the borderline. So Jack gives me an 8 for the game. So that was a bit of a thrill. And then he rings me up. He says, "I'm not coaching Parramatta anymore." He give it away. Which is a bit of a kick. I was disappointed. I was really back to my best and really ready to play. And I know Jack gave the game away for 12 months. But that's just the way it goes. He made a decision not to come and coach Parramatta that year. And went off to Cronulla at some stage. Yeah, they were glory days, great days. Going back to Parramatta Stadium, what was called the old Cullen Oval. Because we played the 81 one at the end, and they burnt the grandstand down. So 82.
81, ding dong, the witch is dead.
Yeah, that was
Jack, yep.
That was upstairs.
And that was when they burnt the stadium down. I'm just trying to think how old I was because somehow, because I remember you telling me one of the great moments was Rabs and Jack on stage introducing you guys back at the Leagues Club. The auditorium probably held, 800 people. There was 2,000 and you could feel the floor moving up and down, and your memory was so vivid of it. And I don't know how I got in there, but I can still see that night a sea of people with a big bonfire out the back, which was Cumberland Oval.
It was too. But that's the thing about getting back to Parramatta. You're on the bus with the boys, all of a sudden you're at Parramatta. As you approach Parramatta, the crowd, Church Street, Marsden Street, O'Connell Street, just the thickness of the people, and you got out of that bus. Just the roar of the crowd.
How much it meant to them.
How much it meant to them. And they'd take us up to there was always a dinner for us, and they'd take us upstairs, and Ray Warren was the MC. He'd introduce you one at a time, bang, bang, bang. That was just a pump. You can't put into words what that was like to explain, but the memories are so indebted in your brain. But that's why I really hope one day Parramatta players get a chance to experience what we experienced. Not so much winning, but going back and see what it meant to the fans. That was huge. And of course, then... 2 years later, we come back when the 86 grand final was all the same thing again, just that same recognition by the fans. Doing that lap of honour at the cricket ground as well, that's such a buzz.
Yeah, wow.
It's big time, and having Bob Hawke present us the trophy, and presented us our individual medals.
Yeah, it's
That was
pretty cool.
amazing. And then in recent times, as we mentioned before about the grand final or the premiership ring, the club acknowledged everyone. There was 30 players playing those 4 grand finals. They gave us all a ring.
Yeah.
Jack got the ring as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great memories. Awesome. But so much you learned from it. I think what I learned in life so much about playing at that level, there's a lot of sacrifice involved. It's a tough game. Rugby league plays both mentally and physically. And it has to be number one in your life to be successful. It's got to be paramount that you do whatever you can to improve yourself as a player and to be able to understand the good tips that you're given. Like Jack could use one line as like, go on every play. So go on every play means that's both in attack and defence. You might be the third player in a tap move, but that's not where your main role is. Your main role is to be ready if that first player who gets the ball makes a break and be next to him. Same in defence. When you tackle a person, put him to the ground. Doesn't matter who. I watch that now when someone gets tackled, next thing they're involved in a try. But that wouldn't happen in our day because Jack would say, put him to the ground, hang on to him, whatever. Don't lean back up to become involved in the play.
Yeah.
When you get close to the try line, another one, Jack's saying, get down low to the ground so you don't get held up. So many games I've played where players make a big break and it's such an even contest, and all of a sudden we get over the line, they don't get the ball down. The opposition get the ball, and they might go 100 metres or 50 metres back up the field and score a try.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing, when Jack gets to the club, you had Stello kick off. He said, this is a move for Wynn. Wynn, get on the sideline. Right? He said, as soon as that ball goes across the 10 metre line and the sideline, I want you to get it. Right? So I'm on the sideline. Sterlo kicks it, the ball bounces up. I just get one hand to it. I said, I busted myself. Next thing Jack says, then get one hand to it, get two to it. So I never forgot that. And if you're carrying a ball, always carry a ball in two hands. Yeah. Little one-liners like that, which means so much to you. And the other big thing, Jack...
They sink in.
They sink in. The other thing too, Jack always said, if you make a mistake, make sure the next thing you do is positive. So often, even when I watch the game now...
Did he say do it at pace? If you're going to make a mistake, do it at pace?
Not so much that was bad. If you make a mistake, make sure the next thing you do is positive. Say you miss a tackle. Yeah. The next time you're involved in play, make sure you make that tackle, or make sure you catch the ball. Or if you knock on, the next thing you do, whatever comes towards you next time, make sure it's a positive outcome, which sticks in your brain as well. I often watch games now on television when a player makes a mistake without mentioning, and next see what he does next. He might miss the next tackle. You think, he's off his game a bit. I think that's how Jack gauge whether you're on your game or off your game.
Yeah, same principles apply just in life.
Yes, so much in business. All those little one-liners I just used, then you can really bring themselves into your business portfolio.
Gentlemen, we're going to continue the conversation.
Yes. Sorry.
No. We're just going to regroup. But before we do that, John Gibson's Locate, Negotiate, Residential Buyer's Agent, Commercials Buyer's Agent, Commercial Tenant Representation, Sellers Advocacy, Consult, Research Services, Aged Care Assist. John Gibson's Locate, Negotiate. Locate, Negotiate, smart advice, expert guidance, better property outcomes. LocateNegotiate.com.au and back right after this.
Pete, do you remember your first property you purchased?
I do, yes.
Talk us through it.
I wasn't that smart about what to do with money. I had it in the bank, earning interest. Then all of a sudden, I didn't even know what real estate was. I think I had to look it up in the dictionary to find out how those two words combine.
Yeah.
And then someone said, I didn't understand what property was either. But about 1979, I was talking to my brother Graham, and he was involved with Michael Hill in Newcastle because he played for Western Suburbs Newcastle. And he was saying, Michael Hill was doing some sort of development or something was going on up there, and next thing Michael Hill contacted me and said, we've got a property up there. So then he explained to me what I could do
with
this
property. What
was
the address?
759 West Court Road, New Lambton.
No,
It's just a little two-bedroom unit. I remember we had a lock-up garage.
It's called padding. Give me the address again.
759 West Court Road, New Lambton.
Okay, we've got that. Gibbo.
That's 1979. What's that, 21, 40...
45...
46 years
45,
ago, yeah, a long time
I
ago.
thought history says that a property doubles historically. John, you can help me here. I think Peter told me earlier. I thought a property, as Mia goes to call logic, we're padding. Well, I thought it doubles in value every 7 years. Peter said 10 just before we came on air.
Well, I think that every decade it changes.
Okay.
So, I mean, it could be a theory to say 10. There could be a theory to,
Well, no, I just thought it was a nice topic to bring up as we pad. Now, Mia, how are we travelling over there?
Okay, first of all, what'd you pay for it?
My memory, if I could remember the address, I should be able to remember the price too, shouldn't I, Johnny? 38,500.
Well done.
38,500. What would that property be worth today, Mia?
So today the estimated value value is 650,000.
650,000.
Look at Wally.
But,
He
you
loves
know,
his
I
money.
mean,
It's a long time ago, isn't it?
Yeah, it
You'd
is a long
expect a
time
bit of
ago.
appreciation.
Yeah, you have to. I
You
mean,
still wish you kept it, Wally.
no, but like, I mean, you've obviously traded out and you traded into something else over time. So,
Well, that's a good point you say there. I mean, I think just
Always
thinking about
leave
real
something
estate.
for someone else.
did you have when you traded out of it? Did you buy back in soon after?
Very good. I think that's one of the tricks, isn't it? Which I didn't invent or anything, but I might have been told that buy and sell in the same market.
Yeah.
So I did sell that. I did sell that property, and I got married because I needed somewhere to live. So I married the great Linda Wynn.
The
Yes.
great Linda Wynn.
And we built our first house in Windsor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I used that money to be in a position to be able to build a house.
Did you, the first property, when you negotiated, did you get any advice from anyone?
No, I didn't even negotiate. He just said that's the price.
That's the price.
I said I'm happy to pay it.
Yeah.
I didn't know whether I could screw the bloke down or I could ask for a better price. I
Yeah.
wasn't really, had no
No
training.
haggling from Wally.
No haggling. No one taught me how to do that, Mark. But I'm just saying, I mean, are you bred to know how to deal with real estate? Are you bred to know what to buy, what to sell, how to go about it? But I'm very fortunate I did have the instinct to buy the unit.
So I
learned a lot from it.
over the years, you've dabbled in and out of property. Any lessons you've learnt along the way?
I always try to pick up, how do you say it? It'd be good to be able to recognise good tips that people give you. Like I mentioned about Jack and his tips about having two hands on the ball, go on every play, get close to the line. I think in real estate, probably a couple of tips like those that you just mentioned, buy and sell in the same market. What's another good one? Buy, never sell. Some people say that as well.
Yeah,
But that's I think that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
I think you've got to try and improve yourself every time. Probably try and recognise what's going on, where the hot spots are in Sydney, and try and get yourself as close to them as you can.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think property has played a significant role in building wealth for you over the years?
I think it has, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I read books about successful people, and you often hear them talk about real estate.
Yeah,
Just read about where a lot of their wealth has come from.
yeah,
Yeah. I didn't invent the rules about real estate, but I just try and listen and try and make smart decisions. Made plenty of wrong decisions,
yeah,
Johnny, I might
yeah.
say.
I mean,
But I'm
most
still
have.
standing.
Yeah, yeah. Even the most sophisticated property investors have made mistakes along the way. It's how you regroup and then, get it right the next time. Isn't it?
Yeah, I remember I remember going over to Cronulla one day and Jack saw that place over there for sale. I wasn't smart enough to buy it. Would have been nice to live down the road from Jack Gibson back in the day. I wasn't smart enough to do it.
But Gibbo, you often go back. I mean, you always talk long term, but you also say you're never going to pick the top of the market. You're never going to pick the bottom of the market.
That's
Yeah.
true, isn't it?
Yeah.
You see what's happening. With
Try
COVID.
and time the market. People get caught up in trying to time the market. And next thing, the market's past them. The next, they're paying, another 10% on what they were originally going to spend.
But do you think that saying buy and sell in the same market is a good one?
100%.
Oh, I think so. I think that unless you can have some significant data to see there's going to be, you hang off for the next 12 months. But if you're in Sydney and you're buying in blue chip property, they hold the value pretty well. They might be down for a little while, not for long.
And what about the one buy, never sell? You're a real estate man. What's your advice on that?
I think that there's a lot of merit to that. I know a lot of people who have gone with that philosophy and done very, very well over the years. So, if I wind back the clock, it would have been nice to follow that that way. But everyone has different circumstances in life. It would be great to be able to buy one at 20, hold on it, and next one at 22, next one at 27, 25. Next thing you've got a portfolio of properties of 20 properties, and then you've got a nice cash flow stream coming through.
Another one that a good friend of mine told me, said, Pete.
Although the land tax would be quite high, but you can live with that if the income's coming in.
Another thing, a good friend of mine who does a whole lot of property said, Pete, never drive past a property that you've sold. Just the Yanks, the buyer and the seller's dilemma.
What advice would you give the young athletes coming in when they're signing these contracts, lucrative contracts now? They're young, they're 18, they've got to park their money somewhere. They're getting a lot of, advice from, whether it's their a manager or their parents. I mean, what would you give? What sort of advice?
I suppose you can only reflect what happened in your own life. I mean, as a footballer, I signed probably 5-6 contracts, all at Parramatta, but I was never really given any advice what to do with my money.
Yeah.
And I really think in this modern day now, where you've got a player's agent, it should be one of his responsibility to be able to introduce to people who can give you advice.
Yeah, you got you
need
need
advice.
financial advisors, and you've got your accountants.
Look, I know from my
can
own
be quite
experience,
influential.
your next game can be your last.
Yeah.
When you get the contract and tell, like I said before to you, I got busted in 1981. That could have been my last. Because when I had the operation, Dr. Johnson said to me, "Pete, how do you want the knee? Do you want to fix so you can play football again, or be able to walk as a normal human being?" I said,
Yeah.
"Doc, I've got nothing. Football's so important to me. I want to keep playing football."
Yeah.
But it can be over so quick. And I just think while the players have got a contract there, they should be looking for advice for how to invest that money or how to spend it. Because
Yeah.
it goes very quick. But I think probably one of the strengths that we had is that we only got paid once a year, which was the first ever. Then that changed to twice a year. Then all of a sudden, I think nowadays probably the players, because they're full-time professional, they probably get a wage each week, each fortnight.
Yeah.
Not like that pot of gold that we had at the end of the football career, at the end of the football season.
Yeah.
We'll-
Yeah.
So my advice would be get advice.
Yes.
We'll touch on more of this because that always fascinates people. And I think you're one of the pioneers, and I hope I'm not being rude or disrespectful to any other former player, but you're certainly a bit of a trailblazer, the footballer that becomes the businessman. But we'll get there. We'll get there as well. Injury stopped you from the '86 Kangaroo Tour and limited later seasons. When did you know it was time to go, time to retire?
I probably didn't know. I was probably kept playing for nothing.
Like the fighter, to know.
I need a phone call from Dennis Fitzgerald because Mick Cronin's taken over coaching in 1990. You can't believe it. We're playing a trial up at Nelson's Bay and I hurt my neck. But I'd hurt that neck way back in 1979. It just finally caught up with me. A little bit of deterioration in one of the vertebrae there.
Yeah.
So then we get through 1990 and Crow's coaching again in 1991 and I really want to play, but just I couldn't have done it. But mentally I wanted to do it, but the body just couldn't handle it with the rigours of the pre-season, the off-season and getting out in the field. But I don't know if any player really knows. You don't plan things.
Last to know.
Yeah, I think so.
The fighter's last to know.
Yeah, I think so. Unless someone gives you good. So Dennis just rang up and said, if you want to play well, you have to play for nothing.
Yeah.
So I said, no, I'm in business now. I've got so much more I've got to do for my own business to keep that up and running. So
Yeah.
that was
That
was at the crossroads.
Can you abbreviate quickly how that transition happened so quickly for you, football into, bang, Peter Wynn's school?
I came to Sydney in 1975. My brother Graham to watch the 75 grand final. I came to Sydney in 1971 to watch St George, coached by Jack Gibson, play Parramatta. On both occasions, all my brother and I did was go out to Bondi Junction, to see Kevin Junior Sports. I was hooked on sports stores. Loved it. Go to Tamworth. There was
Mick
a sports store in
Simmons?
camp. No, it wasn't. No, never went to Mick
George
Simmons.
through, eh?
No, I went to Kevin Junior Sports.
Oh,
yeah. So I went to all this sort of thing. So having worked in a little retail shop, I like that side of it. But then I think the sports store just had me. I just wanted one day, and then an opportunity came along about 1984. There was a shop called Peter Sterling Sports out at Seven Hills, owned by Jeff Reynolds, and he was looking for someone to go into business with him. So I did a deal with him to be a shareholder of Peter Sterling Sports, and that didn't come to fruition. And then Jeff approached me to open up a sports store in Tamworth called Peter Wynn's Sports in Tamworth. There was Paul Mayer Sports in Liverpool. There was Steve Ellis Sports in Dubbo. There was going to be Brett Kenny Sports in Orange, Ray Price Sports up in Taree. So there was all this going on in the
Not
background.
to mention Johnny Pearce.
Johnny Pearce had his own sports store in
That's the
Parramatta.
bottom of the escalators
Yeah.
in Westfields. That's where I did my work experience, and I
Yeah.
also worked for this gentleman as well.
So when it came
Various
to
capacities.
you did too. You were my gun. You were the gun. You could sell shoes, Mark, as well as everything else. But getting onto this
Enjoyed running.
Peter Wynn Sports in Tamworth, the Peter Sterling Sports in Fairfield. Out at we were at Seven Hills. We did a deal, but then when I come back to sign the papers, he changed it. He was 51% owned. I was going to be 49%. So my accountant said, "But just walk away from it." So I did, and that was 1984. And then I was out with my brother-in-law having dinner.
Mark the Sheik,
Well,
Frankie
Mark.
Farina.
And he was getting out of his little shop down in Birkenhead, and I was ready to do something. I've been teaching for 9 years, and I wanted to get out and was an opportunity of tours I didn't take up, and then we just got together and away we went.
Even if you're not an eel, Wally and the
Wynn.
Cheque will do you a deal at Peter Wynn's Score, smack bang, Church Street Mall, Parramatta. And if you don't score there, you'll never score.
Was it-
Now, hang on, John.
Hang on.
Because we're going to go some rapid fire.
Now, John
we'll
Harker.
take a quick break and come back with more as we take control and enjoy the journey and the conversation with Peter Wally Wynn. John Gibson's Locate Negotiate, residential buyer's agent, commercial buyer's agent, commercial tenant representation, seller's advocacy, consult and research services, aged care assist. John Gibson's Locate Negotiate, where you get smart advice, expert guidance, better property outcomes. LocateNegotiate.com.au. Gibbo, so Wally Wynn, and he's
Yeah.
about to go into sports retail.
So you put your name on the store. What was the reasoning behind that? Obviously, you had a profile name. Plenty of other stores were named after, iconic sort of people in the rugby league world. Has that worked well for you?
Yeah, it's been a great journey. Had a lot of fun. I think probably the biggest thing for me, which you mentioned there, was being a footballer and having a sports store in Parramatta. Such a huge support there. And right from day one, I was very fortunate because for a couple of reasons. On the day that we opened, Dennis Fisher, we had a parade through Parramatta, and Dennis put in the paper, in the Telegraph, that Peter Wynn's were going to a business in Parramatta. And all the players came to the shop on that Saturday morning. When that was over, Ron Casey interviewed me on 2KY about the transition from being a school teacher in the rugby league.
So what year?
David Morrow came out. This is 1988. David Morrow came out to the shop and did an interview, which was played on the ABC.
So you got an infomercial on ABC.
Yes, but
Wow.
just the exposure that the shop got initially was
Yeah.
it just got it out there.
Networked.
There was a shop opening in Parramatta called Peter Wynn's Score, and from there, we certainly put plenty of hours in. I remember going there on Saturdays after training, then leaving late in the afternoon, be ready for the game the next day. So mixing the football and the training was full on. I mean, you don't get anything unless you put a lot of effort into it. And both Mark and I certainly put plenty of hours into the shop, and had very fortunate to have had that exposure, I suppose, in sport where you'd play the game at the highest level, and then the people you'd mix with over, you gave a little bit of recognition, so much in it. And then doing ads with Rabs on Triple M, 2KY and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. The Ray Warren Drive.
Yeah, Rabs was very
With the
good.
Dallas theme music.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I was very fortunate.
3 Melbourne Cup tours.
Yeah, did a few with Rabs, still recovering from
I
that.
think I hosted a couple, Pete.
Good old days, weren't
They
they?
were.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you put your body on the line, putting your name up there. You've only got one thing in life, haven't you? You got your name, so I had to protect that, and I've been able to protect my name and kept that
I
good
remember
credibility.
So I did an opening of the new store or the refurb of the new store with Jack and some of the other players. I remember I can see it in my mind, a picture inside a boxing ring.
Yeah, we had Jack.
Yeah, I've got a photo somewhere at home.
Yeah, Jack come out and cut the ribbon
Yeah.
with a blunt set of scissors.
Yeah.
And Beatsale was there. Nobby Clark.
Was that a
Mares.
refurb or the grand opening?
Refurb.
A refurb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The shop itself was the old Norman Ross store, their outdoor centre. And then Stack's Warehouse had that site.
So you know plenty
then
about
you-
commercial leasing, but I'm not going there as a segue. I'll make it a little bit more simple and
Yeah,
stay
we've
with
negotiated a few leases over the years, Mark. Always bowed to the landlord. How's that sound?
The original shop, how many square metres was it?
700 square metres?
Yeah, so
big
it's
shop.
fair size.
That's probably what we're very lucky too. It was a
Yeah.
big size. It wasn't a small shop.
There was a commercial I wrote. We said it was 10,000 square feet of pure, raw rugby league. So you're talking to the copywriter now. But anyway, your tagline, half know the answer to this one too, as provided by Mr. Gibson. If you don't score here, you'll never score. Very memorable. It becomes iconic in the Sydney radio landscape. It makes its way into television organically. We do some television, in fact. Who came up with that, Wally? And how important, how strong was the branding and that catchy tagline? Who do you hold responsible for this? Well, because we've had some debates that have gone
Mark,
a long
how many
time.
questions have you thrown at me at once?
I
But I will
didn't
say
write
this,
I
right?
didn't write this. I didn't write this.
No, didn't you?
No,
No,
I swear. Pete, did I write this
You're going to
question?
put up your hand.
I am.
No, I'll say this. When I was a teacher, Mark and I decided to
collective.
go into business together.
Yeah.
So I used to run a competition amongst my kids at school. If you were opening a shop, what would you call it?
Yeah.
And they all come up with different names and so on. But Mark liked the word score because it tied in with rugby league. Score instead of store. That's where it came from.
You
Peter
don't
Wynn
think-
score,
you don't think
not
the
store.
Warren Creative might have had a little bit of a play on that tagline?
Well, it's interesting because when we first opened up, John Harker came up.
Okay.
Johnny Harker.
Okay.
You remember Johnny Harker?
Yeah.
He was a mad Parramatta supporter.
Yeah.
So John did
Boxing-
helped me with my
boxing nut
testimonial
too.
dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, freak of bloke. But he said, if you don't score with Peter Wynn, you'll never score. That was
Yeah.
his tag.
It also provided problems, which is, it's a podcast.
But Mark,
also provided problems for Peter because he'd have all sorts of people coming in wanting to score. Do you get me?
Right.
Yes. Yes, I remember that. He had people.
My
coming
vision
in
is that
because,
clear on
because
that.
if you don't score here, Kenny, you never score. So we had a certain demographic coming in trying to score at the
But I'd say
counter.
my partner Mark had, if you don't score here, you'll never
Yeah,
score.
I'll eventually agree. But then smack bang, Church Street Mall, Parramatta. I think we'll take that. And
No, we had a lot of help, a lot of recognition, which was a big thing to getting established.
Yeah.
And the other thing too was about getting stock. So I was very fortunate. I had a contract with Adidas. So in those days, Adidas was just down at Silverwater. So it's to drive the Land Cruiser down and pick up stock, take it
remember
back
that.
in. And also Graham Herndon from Classic, their warehouse was up in Surrey Hills, up in Goulburn Street. Same thing. In those days, you could go drive in, load up, come back to the shop. Now, that's the biggest change in business, Johnny and Mark, is that you indent stock. The jerseys I want to sell for next year I've already ordered. But the old days, you could just drive down and pick stock up. And with rugby league jerseys, it's all streamlined as well. Now, one company makes a Parramatta jersey, which is Macron. One company makes the South Sydney. One company makes the Raiders. But in the old days, you had companies like Classic, Sport M,
Yep.
Peerless, and I could go get stock from any of those
Yes.
businesses. Plus, you could buy unsponsored or sponsored jerseys. So we go buy an unsponsored jersey and people want it without the sponsor on
So
it.
they're all going to be endorsed by the NRL.
They're all licensed product.
Licensed product, yeah.
So there's a huge fee on that. And companies
Yes.
pay big money to have those exclusive worldwide
Yes.
rights.
as much as I'd
Yes.
like to say the man had helicopters and all sorts of land and all sorts of property portfolios, I do know that there is a very skinny margin on buying an NRL official merchandise on jerseys, correct?
Well, there's a licensing fee,
Yeah.
which goes to
Yeah.
the NRL, which is then cut up amongst all the 17
Yeah.
teams at the end of the year, which is a good thing, keeps promoting
Okay.
the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we roll back to COVID? Terrible memory.
Yeah, it wasn't
Back then.
COVID. Poor.
Can you talk us through the impact that had on your business?
Positive. I can only see positive. Now, I mean,
Yeah.
there was no,
No,
There was-
when it first hit,
nobody knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
nobody
No
knew what was
idea.
going to happen. And
Real
when
estate
you
was going to
could
drop by
not-
30%.
When you hear that you cannot have a customer come into your store, was there a time where you thought, what the hell's going on here?
We didn't know
How
it
are
was
we going
going
to get through this?
The government gave great support to businesses. My landlord gave me support as well.
Yes. Yeah, so I was going to ask about rent relief and
Yep.
all that sort of stuff.
That all existed, but there's no customers. So, and I've had a lot of staff, very loyal staff. I didn't cut anybody's wages back. I paid everybody what they were entitled to. Didn't put anybody off. Just kept rolling along the same way, and gave us an opportunity to tidy the shop up, I suppose. Plus, it gave us a big opportunity to focus on our online business, which it was growing at the time. But that really gave us a good opportunity
Did you?
to improve that.
Yeah. With your landlord at the time, was there a formula they worked out in terms of, how much relief you'll get in your rent, or you just sort of shook hands on a number?
I think there was a word used earlier in this conversation about haggle. It's about sitting down.
Oh, I learned
I've had a
that
good.
at your
I've had a
shop.
very good
I learned
landlord.
how to haggle at your shop.
I had a very good landlord.
Yeah.
Sarkis Nassif from Hallmark. He was my landlord. He's been very fair to me for a long, long time.
Right. Yeah.
He knew what was going on. He wanted to do everything he could do to help us so we could pay our rent.
Yeah.
And he was very helpful.
I'm just going to take a step back as we go forward with John's line of questioning here and staying in touch with just something then. You said something then. And John, please correct me here. In the real estate space, it was going to go through the floor, but it increased by sometimes 30%. Regional went mad and real estate went up doing...
Mate, in regards to that,
Yeah.
in terms of retail got hit pretty hard.
No. I'm talking about real estate in general.
Real estate in general, that's, In general, what happened was everyone thought it was going to go south, the market.
It went north.
But it did the reverse.
Yeah.
The market sort of got a lot of traction early on.
That's what I'm talking about.
But why did that
Surprised
happen? Why did it go?
surprised most.
Why did it go north? On reflection now, what's the answer to that?
I don't think anyone really knows.
No, but you already said the answer, Pete. Nobody knew what was going to happen.
I mean, there was places in regional Australia just had increases 25% in a year. and they were like the Byrons, the South Coast, the Miltons, all those areas. But they've been hit pretty hard since then.
Yeah, I was gonna,
because-
John picked up on that and said, got to be careful here when things come back.
Yeah.
Regional areas could suffer, and he was right again.
Well, you had a lot of people, for instance, from the eastern suburbs who, couldn't spend their 100 grand, 150 grand flying overseas. Everyone went up to Byron Bay and thought, well, this is the way the world is. Let's buy a property up here. And a lot of people, in my opinion, paid overs for it. And
You
a
tipped
lot
that.
of people
Yeah, that
If
was
they're
your
patient,
advice.
they're
made quite a bit of money up there by trading out of their properties.
Yeah.
And now I know some people now buying back in,
Yeah.
and it's all worked out very nicely for them.
Mm.
Some people have taken a haircut.
I did have a reason for that, because talking real estate and where they couldn't predict what was going to happen. And you mentioned a word a few moments ago, or a little bit longer than a few moments ago, online. So all of a sudden, you have to pivot. Your business pivots. Now, knowing the business pretty well, although we've had a website and there's, online purchases, respectfully, may I say, when COVID hit, your attention, yourself and Mark, your attention turns to online, and how do we make this space much stronger? Because without talking numbers, I think it probably represents 50-60% of your business now. Take us down that avenue. Shivers, online, how do I make that happen?
Geez, that was a long question.
And part of an answer. Thanks, John. John really makes me feel good. That's his mission in life, is to make me feel good. You've got to pivot. You're going online.
The other thing you've got to remember too, Mark, at the time, you've still got accounts to pay.
Yeah.
So we had great support from our suppliers as well. So, which I'm very humbled.
Yeah.
We had good support from them. And people still there was a demand still for the licensed product of rugby league. So we had good supply.
Yeah.
That didn't diminish at all. And then we're able to, fossick into that, how do you say it, the big wide world web out there.
Yeah.
And
You
got
kind of had to
smarter.
reinvent yourself, didn't you? Like,
That's what I'm...
how can we get traction in a different way?
Well, here, John, you touched on reinventing yourself. Having started business in 1988, we went through the Super League war.
Yeah.
So when that hit, the RRL and Super League, all of a sudden you've got two competitions.
Yeah.
And to get stock then was tougher than what it was during COVID, because Super League teams wanted to keep it all within house, with Nike supplying the jerseys, with Russell Athletic doing all the clothing and so on. So we had to weather a storm like that, because I'm a traditionalist. I grew up under the RRL banner and so on. And at that stage, to promote the game, the RRL were giving away free tickets to games. So we'd be advertised that people were coming in to keep the numbers up and so on. So that was, because of the demand for rugby league wasn't what it was. We were on a bit of a crest of a wave. The RRL were growing. All of a sudden, the Super League appears. I started selling televisions. Started selling gym equipment. Started selling snooker tables to keep the income going.
Boxing
until
gear.
the war
Yeah.
finished, and boxing gear until the war finished, and all of a sudden we had one competition again. So that was a tough time in business as well. But same thing. You don't just stand there and let the wave come over the top. You've got to catch the wave. And away we went again.
Can you just talk me, just going back to, you lived on the eastern suburbs for a little while, and now you've transitioned back to the land. You got little ponies running
Right,
around,
yeah.
and
No, I'm a bushy. Come
Yeah.
a little town called Werris Creek.
How long were you in Bondi, Walt?
Probably not as long as I'd like
No,
to.
how long? How long?
Gee, 12 years.
Yeah,
you
and
used to drink black coffee, and you used to drink
No,
lattes.
yeah,
Mark
lattes.
hasn't bought me a latte yet. It's always come out of my pocket.
And please.
No, it was-
Tell us, can you just, we talked about it earlier, just in regards to, when you went over there and put your toe in the water, and you rented over there for a while, then you end up buying something, and then you've moved back to the land.
And
No,
his
when I
train
first
trips
moved-
to Parramatta from
When I
Bondi.
first moved to Sydney,
Yeah.
I lived at Castle with Peter Sterling. So the Eels put us into a house together, which
Mr.
is so
Hughes.
good.
Mr.
Great
Hughes.
Gary Hughes, yes.
Yes.
But it was good because it was a football environment. Anyway, on this Saturday, when I got appointed, the first school was Maroubra Bay High School, which is a long way from Castle
Yeah,
Hill.
it is.
So on the Saturday morning, I said to Stella, jump in the car with me, let's go for a drive to Maroubra, see how long it's going to take me to get there. On Monday, when I started teaching, it took me 45 minutes. No M2, all there was Parramatta Road, boom,
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
Left home about 11 in the morning, Saturday morning, beautiful drive. So Monday morning comes
Oh.
along.
Oh,
Stella goes off, does what he's doing. So I get in the car, left Castle Hill at 8
Bang.
o'clock. Got to
Bumper to
Maroubra Bay at 10:15. I said, what is going on here?
Yeah, this wasn't on the brochure.
No. I said, well, and next thing I get to the school, Maroubra Bay High, and here's the principal out the front. He said, who are you? I said, I'm one of your maths teachers. He said, where you been? I said, "Man, I'm so sorry." So I used to leave home. Then I start leaving home at 6:30, 7 o'clock just to get to school.
Yeah.
So, and training at Parramatta in the afternoon. So what I did, a mate of mine had a house in at one of the streets north Bondi. So I just, when I wasn't training, I'd just go live with him. So I liked Bondi. I love Bondi. First time I came to Bondi was 1976. Met Harry Eden at the Golden Sheath Hotel, Double Bay, on a Saturday afternoon. And so it stayed memorable in my mind. So I always had the inclination to hang around the beaches, I suppose. I was into not body surfing, but into those ocean swims, like doing this Palm Beach to Whale.
And we're coming to you
Bondi
from
to
Elevate
Bronte.
Studios here, and you've done the Wedding Cake
Done
Island
done that
swim
a couple of times.
But you said to me this morning, I won't be doing it again.
No, I'm a bit scared of sharks. Last time I swam at Bondi, a shark came up beside me, so I haven't been back in the water.
Yeah,
They'd come from that. I wasn't scared of the shark so much. It might have been a gummy Port Jackson shark. The fact it just appeared, don't know where it came from, but it was all of a sudden next to me. So
Apparently they live there well.
The introduction of drones over the years is
yes,
the sightings has gone through the roof. So
that was a period of my life I really
Makes people
enjoyed.
more wary.
Yeah, 100%.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
That was a big part of my life actually living down there. Really met some great people. Loved it. But then all of a sudden I've got these 7 grandchildren, so
Yeah.
I've got a pony. They all come out and ride, get riding on the motorbikes, whatever. So
Speaking
world
of the
changes.
beaches, you did do a bit of fishing in your time.
I
You
went
introduced-
fishing. Your old
you
man rang
introduced-
me up one day and said, "Pete, I heard you're a fisherman. See you at 5 o'clock in the morning." So I went over to Jack's place there in Cowra Place, Cronulla. Out we go to Wanda Beach, and Jack said he's hooked this big fish. He said, "Wynn, get the gaff." Mate, little did Jack know I was over the side of the boat. I think I used to get seasick looking at the water. So he says you're used to, grabs me by the ankle, flicks me into the water, and pulls me back in. So that was my introduction to being seasick off Wanda Beach.
See, I
But
used to hear this all the time. The old man used to say, "Look, it could be someone like yourself or someone who's getting introduced to fishing." He used to always say, "Look, we'll go out for an hour." And I just knew. I just look at him and go,
You knew?
"An hour."
Yeah.
And that's about 8 hours out there of hard labour. And you're going to come back looking green, I tell you.
Talking Real Estate with John Gibson, proudly brought to you by Locate, Negotiate, Smart Advice, Expert Guidance, Better Property Outcomes, locatenegotiate.com.au.
Pete, who were your mentors or key influences early on, even up to today?
I think it was mentioned earlier, my father was our first football coach way back in 1964. Then my mum and dad were so straight, always look people in the eye, always shake their hand. Always
Judge a man by his handshake?
I think that's a bushy line, isn't it? But I think mum was so caring. I think my parents were probably my biggest mentor, carried a lot of their traits with me. It's very important to respect people. I do respect the staff I've got in the shop. I respect the customers who come in because my philosophy is there's so many shops out there, so much opposition that if any customer comes to my shop, theoretically I'd suck the dirt out of their toe because they could have gone somewhere else to spend their money.
Yeah.
So give them give all the staff a lot of love and tender care. Really respect whatever work they do for you. So staff are so important. Had staff with me for a long time. Customers, if they can go out of their way, like I said, to come to my shop, I'll do anything for them. I think a good mentor has been a bloke called Dr. Peter Menelaris. He's very
God
switched
bless
on.
him.
Parramatta doctor for a long, long time. He was there when we won our premierships right through from 81 right through to 1986.
Yeah.
Very caring, very understanding man, especially when you go through injuries. They're always able to give you the right advice. Always.
He's a football man.
Yeah, he loved the game as well, but he also, on the medical side, you needed such good advice to treat your injuries. So he was a very good mentor.
Get any tips from Singer?
Singer gave Bob O'Reilly, Mick Crone, myself a share in a horse, and he named it after. He loved Mick Crone, named it Gerringong. So, yeah, Singer's a good bloke to have a yarn to. You can learn so much from him. He's such a successful man in business, such a good down to earth sort of bloke. Loves his rugby league. A good guy to have a yarn to. A good bloke to have as a friend. Yeah. So that's been the latest sort of relationship we've had. We've had this horse called Gerringong. Had a bit of luck.
Wow.
And Singo's always there if you ever want to have a yarn about anything on the phone, which is really good. I mean, I know he loved your father. He was good mates. I know he certainly behind Newtown back in 1981. I think he called the game on 2KY, but he loves his rugby league. Been a good bloke.
Yeah, he did. Newtown and Parramatta.
Yep.
And I think he said Newtown lead 4-all. Very close to it on 2KY. Memory serves me correct that Rabs tells the story much better than I. Mentors. Do you currently mentor other people? And how important, whether it's sport or life, is mentorship for you?
Look, I was a Parramatta footballer for
Yeah.
12 years, and I was a footballer.
Yeah.
And I just know, if I can reflect back on watching a grand final in 1967, South Sydney, I think defeated Canterbury. It was a black and white on the ABC. I was sitting there in Werris Creek. I just remember the players swapping their jerseys. So when I was part of the Parramatta side back in 1983, I remember what they did, and I did the same thing. Because I'd seen players who you admire and achieve that sort of level. And they put Clive Churchill up on their shoulders, so I was just a part there. We put Edgy up on our shoulders and so on. But just that moment of swapping your jersey. And I know when 1986 came around, Dennis Fitzgerald told us no swapping jerseys if we win this grand final because of the sponsorship on the front of the jersey. But be influenced by what footballers do, I just know we've got a responsibility. The profile that a player holds, the current players, they've got to understand. And a couple of good tips I've been given as well is when Jack turned up, a couple of things he said at our first team meeting was, if anybody asks for an autograph, take your time, sign it, so they can read that signature 10 years down and know who signed that bit of paper or signed that football. And he also said if anyone can go out of the way to come up and say hello to you, spend at least a minute with them before you move on and learn how to do it. And he told us a little trick, which I still practice, which I won't reveal. I just keep that one to myself, of how to make someone feel important and to move on. Because anybody who comes to you, to want to have a conversation with you, they're important.
Yeah.
And you're important to them, so treat them as being very important. So I think that's a couple of good tips I've been given and try to practice as much as I can. Because, so many times you get asked
Pretty
to sign
simple
autograph.
stuff, isn't it?
Simple,
Really?
like so many players, I'm not a fan. I think take your time, sign it.
Well, they're not going to do much for their brand, but that's a marketing exercise, and I'm not going to tip them. So you've been down.
But to be given that advice.
Absolutely.
But more importantly, to recognise how important it is.
Absolutely. I always say someone's name is the most powerful language in the world.
It's a big brand, isn't it?
Talking real estate with John Gibson, and proudly brought to you by Locate, Negotiate, Smart Advice, Expert Guidance, Better Property Outcomes, locatenegotiate.com.au. Despite the injury setbacks, you won 3 premierships. What do those moments mean to you right now in 2025?
Feel very fortunate to have those memories. Feel very fortunate to have had it, to start off as a kid way back in 1964 to play rugby league and to have gone on and to represent your country. I think that was always the goal and the dream, to be able to wear the green and gold. To understand where rugby league, what role it's been in my life. So it's so very important. It's a big part of my life, even to this day, with the story I have in Parramatta. But to have met good people along the way, the likes of Jack Gibson, the likes of Terry Fernley, Ron Massey, Mick Cronin, Bob O'Reilly, John Money, Dennis Fitzgerald, as I say,
Jersey
Dr.
Komorowski was a good friend of yours.
Komorowski, yes. Yeah. But to rub shoulders with those sort of blokes and not to be belittled by them in any way, but to look and try and understand and to see what role they've got in the community and to try aspire to be the same level.
What was if you had to pick one moment, what was the number one highlight playing rugby league?
I think I think it's staring him in the face.
Wearing the green and gold for your country.
Yeah.
When I was selected, I was 1985.
Yeah.
And we just won the State of Origin series, won the first game in Brisbane.
You were man of the match in game 1.
Second game we won at the Sydney Cricket Ground, but I was in the car going home with my wife. I was with my father-in-law. I was with one of my best mates, and just turned the radio on and they announced the first test team. To hear your name read out, that was a real deal.
Yeah.
Even though you had the highs and lows of not being selected or whatever. There's no rules in the book. But to have set that as a goal and to have achieved it was just such a defining moment. And then the tears which come to your eye when I actually ran out onto the Lang Park that night to play the test match. It's hard to put that into words, but it's a sense of achievement, but it's also very humbling.
Yes.
And it's the old rule, never give up on something that you can't spend a day without thinking about.
Yeah.
I never ever got out of my system of not playing for Australia.
And playing with the very best.
Up there, a couple of immortals and the likes of Wally Lewis and Mal Meninga, and playing along but being in that top side to be selected, it was certainly very humbling.
Yeah. I you know what? I underestimated the green and gold fleetingly. I thought you were going to say middle of the SCG with Turvey Mortimer and winning that first Origin series with the Blues and that iconic photo. But yeah,
That's huge.
yeah.
That's huge, especially now that we still see each other once a year at least. And
Yeah.
to be in the dressing room with
In
those
his
guys.
own fight, I know how much it meant to you. You're a big part of Madge's.
You know the defining moment in that? You're in the dressing room with Blocker Roach, Paddy Jarvis, Crusher Clear, Wayne Pearce. There's a lot of wrestling and a lot of G up, a lot of talk. And then get out into that cricket ground, as we did in 1985. Led 12-0.
Yeah.
Queensland came back and levelled up 12-all, then hit the lead 14-12. So we're trailing 14-12. Michael O'Connor kicks a goal, makes it 14-all. We kick a field goal to hit the lead, and Wally Lewis at the other end misses a field goal. And then you look around. When they hit the lead 14-12, you look around those blokes that you're with, all the G'ing up, all that camaraderie that went on before the game, all of a sudden it was the crossroads. Do we get the job done or don't we? And you look at those blokes and you know they were fair dinkum because we knuckled down and won the game.
Yeah.
That was very satisfying as well.
Yeah.
And had a coach like Terry Fernley there who at the first team meeting when the first side was mentioned said, you've got an opportunity to be the first team to win the State of Origin. It's been going since 1980. New South Wales haven't won it. Here's your chance. And I think when that full-time siren went and you look at that photograph you mentioned about Turvey being and the smile and all the boys.
It became real close again last year because it became very much part of Madge's way to Origin victory.
Whilst
for
it
the
was
Blues.
personal,
Yes.
it was a team effort.
Yeah.
It was team
Well,
satisfaction.
it showed us what New South Wales meant, Peter, was what I was getting to. Now, stay with rugby league. Who was the best teammate you played with, firstly? And who was your toughest opponent that you've faced?
Too hard, that first question, Mark.
No, it's not. Come
Too
on.
hard.
As a
Too
player.
tough.
Well, give us
Too many
a-
good
come
blokes.
on.
Yeah.
Too many
Come
good
on.
blokes. Too
Come
hard.
on, Peter.
Too hard.
No.
You
I
go through the
actually-
names.
Hold your ground,
I
John.
actually agree with him. I mean, when you look at
Too
that back
tough.
line and
Honestly.
you just like that.
Too tough.
Yeah.
The
Honestly.
forwards win the game. We say.
Who was the best player you ever played with?
I can't put it on record.
Yeah.
I like it. All
You
right,
said,
I'll
was that
cop
at
it.
Parramatta or in the world?
No, I said, I'm reading John's questions here. Who was the best teammate you played with?
That's too hard for me.
All right. What about the toughest opponent you ever faced?
There's some tough blokes out there.
Get off the fence. Get off the
How many names do you want me to
fence.
throw at you? Terry Randall.
You're gonna name one.
Yeah.
I
No one's going to argue with
played
that.
against Bob
Eagle.
O'Reilly.
Yeah. Okay.
Played against Mark Harris. Played against Ron Coote. Played against Bob Fulton. Played against...
Toughest. Come on.
Mate, they're all tough. If they get a shot on you, those guys at
You're
that
saying
level, they can
Igor?
hurt you.
Are you going to say Eagle?
Oh, Igor was tough. He got me a good shot. A few good players. When they hit you with a fair, good shot, you remember them. And there's quite a number of players who fill those boots.
So we can't get a teammate, but we know we got a couple there so far as toughest.
Mal Meninga played in 4 Kangaroo Tours. I played with Mal for Australia and against him. I admire him. He's a Queensland legend, an Australian legend.
Immortal.
He was good.
Immortal.
Wally Lewis, I first played against Wally when he was a reserve for Valleys in 1977. Then I played against Wally when he was a reserve for Queensland in 1979. Look what he became. He's probably a great player, legendary player.
Yeah.
No, I played with too many and against too
Okay.
many good ones to single anyone out.
Yeah.
You'll make a politician.
This question this excludes family. So you're having a barbecue. You can invite half a dozen people. Who are they?
6 people, Wal.
You know, 6. Am I allowed? I've got to nominate 6.
Yep.
That's 6.
Wow. Okay, let me start with this for
They
you.
can be with
It
us
could be
or not with us.
anyone from
Yeah.
any time.
Does Graham Wynn get a start? He's a.
Oh,
he's-
hey, we're
that's-
going right. Yeah. Okay, you want to
family.
invite your
That's my
brother?
brother. You allowed family? He's
Yeah.
saying,
No family.
no family. Oh, no
Excluding
family.
No family. No
Excluding
family.
Gee,
Sorry, John.
you're testing me here, aren't you?
Well, you can narrow it down to 3 if you want.
6. Terry Fernley,
Terry Fernley,
Jack Gibson,
Jack,
Ron Massey,
Ryan.
Mick Cronin,
Wow.
Bob O'Reilly.
Yep.
And there's one there. I read books.
Yeah.
And I read this book about Spartacus. I don't know if you know the story about Spartacus, but he was a slave who led a revolt against the Romans.
Yes.
You're not going to say me, are you?
No, I said I'd love to see Spartacus there.
Wow.
Read the book.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I would have had Mr. Ali and Mr. Mandela, but it's always Spartacus. I haven't heard that one brought up before. That's fantastic.
But all the other, I mean, I could have heaps of blokes here as well.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
if I had to pick one,
Yeah.
I'd like to have
That's
Giannis
fantastic.
Spartacus.
I think I'd have Ernest Shackleton there.
Ernest Shackleton.
Yeah, polar explorer. His story is just off the
Next level.
charts.
Yeah.
Off the charts.
Okay.
But there's
There's the movie. You've probably seen the movie Spartacus.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
Kirk Douglas. So
Yeah.
but read the book. The book goes into really
Into more detail.
quite amazing. Yeah.
I did ancient
and about
history.
the
I
book.
did ancient history in Year 12, but I'm not because I was just participating at
That's
school.
when I gave the book
but
to- I gave the
I
book-
loved ancient Greece and I loved the history.
I gave the book to Menelaris, Dr. Menelaris, to read. He got me a hard copy, gave it back, and he said, "Wally, the best book I've ever read." And he's read it
Wow.
4 times. I've read
Wow.
it 3 times myself.
Wow.
Plenty of lessons in that to read about.
Okay. Thank you.
Human
one.
survival against all odds.
Thank you.
the game's changed a lot. What do you think about the modern game? I mean, now we've got centre of excellence. We've got, organisations have got massive staff, physios, gyms, ice baths, everything.
Amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
back in the day, we used to have to report our injury to Alfie Richards back at Parramatta Eels Club, and Jack got the list on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Pretty well knew what was going on then, whether you're playing or not. But I love the game. Always have. I love the modern game of the 10-metre rule. They're big, they're strong. I really love what the judiciary are doing as well, protecting players. I mean, having suffered a few head injuries along the way, I think it's so good to protect the player.
Yeah.
Because there is life after football.
Yeah.
And I mean, I look at a lot of some of my teammates, some of my opponents, just the problems they're having health-wise
Yeah.
with regards to injuries they've had, not just the mental issues, but also
Yeah.
the parts of their body, whether it be knees or hips or fingers or whatever. The game, there's a price to pay playing the game of rugby league. And I just think what's going on in the background of protecting players with that head-eye is so important.
Well, you copped a little bit of that, or a fair bit of that. And rather than moving on with the rest of our questions, I saw John put his notes down. I'm doing the same. And we won't finish off on a dour note, but so far as HIA, the game doing as much as they can with a duty of care and trying to show due diligence where they can. But Pete, respectfully, rugby league is a collision sport, and somewhere in between there's hopefully an answer. What are your thoughts on that? Because it's a massive
The
topic.
duty of care is so important. Whatever they can
Yeah.
do to alleviate injuries.
But
Because
our
of course
would you
it's a
agree our
collision, we
game's
know that.
yeah.
No one puts a gun to your head either to play the game, okay? But I just think there's a responsibility there.
I
to
don't
keep
believe
them
rugby
pro-
league is
keep
for
play-
everyone.
No, it's not for everyone.
Thank you.
It's not for everyone.
Thank you.
Like people protect their kids and let them play at an old
Yeah.
age or whatever.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, my father introduced us to the game when we were 4 years of age. He'd been a player. So and we loved it. So we stuck with it. If I was a tennis player or a golfer, maybe
Yeah.
that's the line I would have gone.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to protect that duty of care to players because you got a long life. I'm 67.
Yeah, and you're
I've had a
doing
knee
very,
replacement, I've
very
had a hip
well.
replacement, and all these other things that come with the game. I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
But that's just the way it is. That's the nature of the game. But the fact that there's so much investigation going on to
Yeah,
the
medical
effects of
research and
contact
so
on.
forth.
Yeah,
But at the
very
end of
important.
the day, we can only sanitise our sport so much in a collision sport.
Yeah, your words, Mark.
I thought we both agreed there, kind of. I'm with you. Due diligence, duty of care. You with me, John?
You're sounding more like Tucker Carlson every day, mate.
Well, it's a serious matter, isn't it? Really, for all of us, with friends and people we've lost and along the way. And yeah,
I think the sports science has gone to a whole new level. I think
Yep.
people, are putting up their hand now.
the kids' game's never been safer.
Duty of
That's
care, as
great.
you said, is
Accidents happen.
Been very good.
Accidents happen. I like
Yeah.
that, Peter. And you are a diplomat. Wow, you're good. You are very, very good, Pete. Hey, I've enjoyed this, mate. I've enjoyed this. Apologies for the long intro, but not apologising because I will say you're a family friend. I'd also call you an older brother, which I've mentioned to my father numerous times. I know this bloke, he doesn't show much emotion, but I know how much his dad loved you, and I'm pretty sure he loves you as well. And thank you for sharing some of your journey talking real estate with John Gibson and your co-host Mark Warren. Gibbo, last words.
Oh, I'm going to sign this cheque for Pete.
Oh, no!
I'm going to go out and we're going to. I'm going to help him spend it.
Yeah, we'll have some fun, won't we?
Oh, absolutely, mate.
There's plenty of, that number there, there's plenty of opportunities out there. Spend wisely.
Well done. Thanks, Pete.
Thanks,
Cheers, mate.
Wal.
Thanks for having me along.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
Thanks, Wal.